Hello and welcome to another Pulsefire Gaming video. Today we are taking a look at some special ships that are available for free on Thingiverse. These ships are made by the creator Smight, who is around the Starships Miniatures Gaming Facebook group or the Full Thrust Discord or the Full Thrust Facebook group. He has been making models for quite a while. They're all available for they're all available on Thingiverse. And they're actually pretty darn good ships. They're very easy to support and print on FDM printing, and that means that they're also really easy to support on resin. So today, let's take a look at this unnamed fleet showcase that we're going to refer to as the Smight ships, even though he has more than one fleet. And as is customary, we're going to start from smallest to largest. So first things first, on the ships. They are all double scaled. So if you printed these at their original scale, they would be half as big as they are here. That's one thing. Since we like them big on our tabletop, that's what we've done here. So we have the fighters. They're very simple shapes, very easy to print. These are all printed in resin. There's not a ton of details on them, but they're easily denoted to have the same kind of design language as all the other ships on there, and since they're smaller, they're easy to say, oh hey, look at these are the fighters. Oh, they're so cute, little tiny fighter boys. We added our pegs on here, but we didn't support them right, so the pegs are kind of loosey-goosey in our stands. If you do that on yours, just be aware you need to support things correctly. Alrighty, so those are the fighters. So one cool thing that Smight did with his ships is he put out several different variants of them. So we have the Corvette on here, but we also have two different missile Corvettes. Missile Corvette 1 has these missile pods on the sides. You can see that it's just the Corvette, but it's also got missile pods, and then the missile pod doors are closed on here. But then you look at the missile Corvette number 2, and the missile Corvette number 2 has the doors open, and you can see all the little tubes on there. Our printer messed these up because we're having screen issues again that we're going to have to resolve. But yeah, this is the Corvette line, including the missile Corvette with the doors closed, the missile Corvette with the doors open, and the standard Corvette. All right, whoa, moving right along. Let's take a look at the frigates. I think there's 3 different frigate. Let's see here. That's destroyer. This is the frigate. So the frigate and the destroyer are very similar. You'll notice that the frigate is shorter and the destroyer has these long missile tubes or torpedo tubes on them. So we're going to take a look at the frigate because that's the next in the size. You can see it's got very similar designing, but the engine system's a little different. The deck details are a little different on here. We haven't yet, obviously, not printed or painted these up yet because we've got a lot of things on our painting plate. You can see on here the missile frigate variant is basically the same ship, but it's got missile pods. These missile pods are out at a 45-degree angle, which is interesting compared to the others that are straight out. And yeah. So now let's look at the destroyer, and there's 2 variants of the destroyer. You have the regular destroyer right here, a little DD. It's got the big old missile tubes on it, but it's got the it's got the usual styling that you see on the other ships from the specific Smight Fleet pack. Then you look at the heavy destroyer. It's a similar profile, but it's a much bigger ship, packing much more of a punch. It looks like it forgoes the visual torpedo tubes on the top, but then adds these external tubes on the bottom. There's not any stats or anything to go with these, so you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have anything that's inherently WYSIWYG, but it's cool to see all the specific details that are modeled on here. Now, that's the destroyer and the heavy destroyer. Now we're going to take a look at, this is the light cruiser. And this is another one that our printer had a problem with, but if you look at it on this side, this is what it's supposed to look like. Light cruiser is very cool, has very cool stylings on it. It's just building upon all of the other design elements that we've seen in the past ships. And then you go and look at the next cruiser, which is this. It's called the Cruiser 2, but you could almost call it, you know, it's a mainline cruiser, it's a heavy cruiser. This one actually printed out pretty dang perfect. We printed these straight up with supports heavily on the back, so that's why it looks a little rough back here, but it's one thing that the heavy cruiser has is it's got the top mounted or top deck mounted torpedo tubes styled on the front here. Now, that's all the small ships. Let's get into some big ones. I'm gonna push all these aside. And we have, next in size, this is the light carrier. You can see it's got a big old hangar deck up front. And then it's just a nice ship. Compare it to the heavy cruiser. It's much bigger than the heavy cruiser. And then I think the ship that wins my thing, this one was printed in FDM, is this battle cruiser. The battle cruiser is a fantastic ship. I think it's probably the pinnacle of the ships that have that he put out in this fleet pack. It's got the torpedo tubes. It's got these side doors. It's got, I guess these might be broadside weapons, but I think the battlecruiser is a win here. Battlecruiser is just a little bit bigger than the light carrier, but it's definitely a different frame. Now we've got 2 more ships to go. Here is the battleship. Battleship adds those doors on double layers on here. It's got these weapons mounted on here, and it's a little bit bigger, but it's definitely bigger, beefier ship. And last but not least is the carrier. It's got 2 hangars in the front, and I think all in all these ships are pretty dang good. It's interesting that he hasn't named these ships, kind of leaving it up to you to name them what you're going to name them. But all in all, I think this is one fantastic fleet. And like I said, these are all free on Thingiverse. So if you have a 3D printer, you can knock these out. And they're, like I said, really easy to support, and they're fun little ships. So if you're looking to build a new full thrust fleet, or something maybe in the metaverse, or in one-page rules FTL Warfleet, or anything, a Billion Suns would be a good thing because there's all the ship classes on here. I think these are all good options if you're looking for a nice, cheap, easy to print fleet. Thank you very much for watching our video. Feel free to comment if you have anything to say about this video. If you want to see more of our content, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.